so dark here. Peace. All right. It is 6 o'clock. I'm going to be here for 2 hours. 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is when I will end this course for today, the 13th. Okay, any questions, thoughts, ideas, insights, builds? Peace to the God King, come on. All right. Today's, I don't know, but the lighting in here, and it just looks really dark here. Okay. No one is here yet. There were some visitors here. I got here early today. For anyone, people will listen to after. Everyone's here now. That's wonderful. Like I said, my class pre-starts is the pre-game show, the pre-warm-up to the show and prove. If you don't show and prove here, don't come to show and prove. Last week I had a lot of insight from a very negative class, you know what I'm saying? However, the show and prove was a totally different affair for me. And I didn't even have time to write a post about it because I've been very busy. When I do have time, I just felt I needed to do something else, and just been working furiously. So I didn't have time to sit down and reflect. I tried to collect some of the pictures that I took and were taken of me with other brothers and sisters. I don't think I definitely know I didn't get them all. I was in other pictures. What a wonderful event. It was just nice. It's always nice enough just to go around the gods and earths. I would have liked it to be bigger, but in lieu of it being, bigger, the quality was greater, It matched up with the best show and proves in that there were a lot of children doing things. We saw a bomba presentation, right? Bomba, one of the Afro-Indigenous, African dances and musical genres of Puerto Rico, Borinquen, where my ancestors are immediately from, right? My parents, my immediate bloodline. So it was nice. Other MCs I never met. Some were okay. All were sincere. Law King Wise was very good. Um, but I will tell you that when when they said they were giving out awards, I assumed I might get one because I was told I would. I won't say who told me, but they've been also saying that for a long time. So I didn't leave. I figured I'd stay, and I did get an award, an educator award. So it was nice to go up there and receive that. Um, what was even nicer was to speak about all of the elders, as many as I could remember. My enlightened knowledge, me, remembered in perfection. All the gods remembered in perfection that taught me. Dumar Wadi, Wise Jamel, Infinite Al Jamar, Freedom Allah, aka Papa Wu, uh, and lots. Peace. Right? Savior Knowledge, who's still here. He's in Seattle. Who else? Again, just like I was on stage, I couldn't remember everybody. But it was really nice to try to remember everybody. And I told the story. Many people know it who listen to the class. Knowledge, my enlightened knowledge, me, when I first came to the class, May 4th, 1999, I built on the culture degree in the 1 to 10 and the 1 to 36. And how I saw culture freedom as best as I could. When the class was dismissed, Knowledge Me stepped up to me and he said, asked me some questions about myself and then said, if you continue like this, you'll be teaching here one day. You know, I don't know why he said it. You know what I mean? It was, I know that I always had an ability to share things concisely, that what I know and understand, have an ability, maybe a gift, to let other people be able to know that as well and come to their own understanding with it. And he saw that. Thankfully, he wasn't the first to see that, but he was the first. He was certainly the fastest to see it. Certainly the fastest to see it. Throughout my college years, my mentor, Dr. David Traverso Galarza, he would put me lecturing, having set lectures in other classrooms and stuff. You know, I didn't think of it about being a teacher. I thought of it as being able to present my insights and just have a voice. It's funny, I didn't look at it like teaching. You know, the knowledge me saw it. Then I realized, I am going to be a teacher and build. So it was very, very nice. And I got to speak about that, which is very personal story to me. And I think that after I speak about day sun, my day one God, day -1 in this nation, who brought me here. And eventually I came to the second day I was here, right? The second time I ever came here, I was at Knowledge Me's class. 3 days later, May 1st, then May 4th. Two of the most crucial days of my life. And it was nice to speak about Day Sun, you know what I mean? Who devised the name of the course, who thought I should teach a course and devised it. Took the slot that I asked for, that I told him I could do. And the rest is history. You know, a long history of a lot of work and stuff and a lot of trial and tribulation, not always bad. Much of it better, much of it useful. And it was nice that's the nice thing about receiving an award. It was nice to speak on that and give those accolades to those elders that I love. It was nice, you know what I mean? Aside from that, I don't know if it was because I get a lot of love. And I don't know if it was because I got the award, But the rest of the time that I was there, um, many of the brothers, my peers, and really everybody was giving me love and walking around and saying some really nice things, and I forget things quickly when it comes to that. I remember who says things to me that are nice, but I forget those things because, um, again, I get an award on Sunday. I'm still working toward being well enough to share something in this class today. So, I don't let it get to me. You know what I'm saying? Um, but it was a great honor, and I don't want to seem my thoughts about awards doesn't mean that I don't appreciate the love that people put into giving me an award. So it's very nice. But the show and prove was really great. There are many gods from Mecca, Detroit, C. Medina, right? So Chicago, of course, the boroughs, and so it was nice. I saw Texas, you know what I mean? Saw the God, Mr. Minister Freedom, right? Wonderful, wonderful to see the God for the first time. So that was really great. That is in the flesh. Okay. Let me see. Let's see if there are any messages about the class. All right, now it's King Kamal messaging about the class. That's peace, God. And but it's nice, and don't think that I didn't. I also acknowledge love, or I could say in adulation, and I'm saying, things of that nature, from certain people that are not so they're not so peace on the social media. But when I saw him at the show and prove, it was none but love. It was heavy D. It was none but love. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? Because I don't have problems with anyone. People have problems with me. You know what I mean? So if you fixed your problem before we met face to face, then good for you. Didn't meet any of the trolls that keep asking me about the doctored audio that they looped me saying I don't believe, and I don't believe. I don't teach you to believe, and don't teach anyone. So if you say anything like that was all bullshit. If you see some of the video, one of the latest videos at the law school in Mecca, and I had a little issue with CIYs. CIYs wasn't really clear about what he was speaking about regarding me and what I know. And we spoke. We had a very good build, and we're at peace. You know what I mean? So just trying to address everything before I build on things. And God, King Kamal, God, you said, Kish, question about the first degree in the 1 to 40 when it speaks about writing Quran. I know we write our Quran history in real time, but doesn't it mean we speak things in our lives in advance? It does. When you write your history in advance, it is the same as saying, I will do this, I will do that. But a year to every mile means that you are actually seeing the steps that it would take very, very clearly. You are plotting in a great clarity the steps that you'll take. So we're talking about writing a history in the regards to time and space. If you don't see the steps that you'll take, then you're not looking at the space, and so your timing is always gonna be off. You know what I'm saying? You have to look at when you begin, when you end. You know what I mean? And everything that goes in between. You know what I mean? All right. Let me know if that answers the question. King, you also said you deserve whatever great accolades you get. Got long overdue. Thank you. Yeah. In more funny ways, other gods were saying it was long overdue, but it's not long overdue. You know what I'm saying? It's not long overdue because um, if people didn't give me an award, it's either because they didn't want to or they didn't feel that I was doing anything um, great, or what I do know is that what I have been doing is necessary. Um, all the elders that are here know that, um, and they also know that to the best of my ability, it's worthy. So I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? Serious peace, King. You said the trolls were there in secrecy, like maybe yeah, they would definitely if they were there, they were definitely secret masons. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when I talk about the love that I received, it was like there was a sister there with a book, a young sister, and I bought her book. And word is bond. After that, no one let me buy anything. Every table I walked through to see what they were doing, and I said, "Hey, that's nice." Well, I said, "Of course." Um, they they were giving me. I was given T-shirts, a visor, um, books, pamphlets, chains, accessories that people were selling. I was giving everything. I came with no bag. I was given a bag, and people filled it up. And that's it's a lot of love. Like I said, it was a lot of love, and I'm thankful because it lets me know that people are seeing what I'm doing. It's worthwhile. You always want to know if you're heard and read and seen. Um, so that just lets me know and continue. And I saw a lot of other great builders there too, and it was nice to see. It was nice to see. You know, um, everybody that has issues with Sunez kept it to themselves or kept it so petty it went unnoticed or irrelevant because I catch the pettiness though. Um, it's good to do a little petty on a show and prove because um, that's when I'm not going to make a big issue about it. I'm going to let you take your swings, you know. But I saw everything. Um, couldn't outdo the love that was given to me, you know, and from the gods and all the wonderful arts that were there. You know what I mean? Um, G1, you said peace on Sunday. I meant to bring a copy of Ramsey's Ionic Treatise on Gothic Futurism. I printed out for you to knowledge. Oh man. Um, well, if you're near to get to the show and prove, then I don't know if you're still in the New York City area. I don't know why you don't come down Thursday. I'd love to see you. That's peace, King. That's peace. You know what I mean? And I definitely felt that way. So it gives you a great feeling to continue. You know, so and there was a contrast from the way that Show and Proof started, where I kind of had to scream on that elder. I didn't really scream at him. I just got loud with him to answer to the. I had to answer. He had to answer to the pettiness that he was wielding, and he didn't want to. So then he had to leave. You know what I'm saying? Um, but other than that, though, the show and proof is not like that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Let's see. Open my notes here. There might have been some things last week that I had written as notes here. I figured after that drama, I would just use that as a catapult to really build about a lot of the history and other things. And most importantly, I really wanted to. I think the show Improve is about hearing what you've achieved, what you are proud that you achieved and stuff. You know what I mean? And of course, though, that goes to myself too. If people want to know what I've achieved and stuff like that, I think it's a little bit more self-evident because I'm out there. You know what I mean? People are going to see what I do. You know. All right. I'm trying to open up my notes and it's like taking forever. All right. I had this thing. I don't remember all of it. I should have kept writing notes as I wrote it. Um, there was one thing. I don't know if I can remember it all. It was loose notes, but I had this thing where I said motivations of getting and keeping knowledge self. I think sometimes when we worry, we lose it. We say, "Oh, I have to renew my history and things like that." I think it's important that we ask the questions of our motivations. What were our motivations when we got the knowledge of self? And that's something why I have people write a journal. What were your motivations as you got a knowledge of self? This isn't something that can be answered like in the chat or something, because it could be true what you would say in the chat, but it may not necessarily be very very useful because it's something to reflect on. You know, even if I answer now, it's because I've thought about this for years. The motivations for getting knowledge of self. They have a lot to do with ego. That if I'm in this world, I give you my personal perspective when I was thinking of it. I am in this world. This world is against me. The only reason it is against me is because I haven't taken my power to formulate my power against it. For it is mine, but if it is unused, then it would be taken by someone else. That actually wasn't wrong, but it was out of an aspect of ego. Then I'm the only one that I acknowledge myself. The only person I'm with at all times. The only person that I'm 100% responsible for. And so I gave myself the greatest power, but had too much ego at the time to see that it was really built on responsibility. And so we get knowledge of self. What maintains it though is then constructing principles that advocate what it truly ought to be. And that's something that we don't do very well often when we get knowledge of self. And that's what I say the motivations to getting and then keeping. We could use last weekend as example. Did we keep it so we continue to talk down to people even as we're not taking the responsibility to do great things? It's important. Because now when other people do things, the greatest add-on that it would have is to only know how to take away. Yeah, you did that, but it is not this. That's not the kind of builder that's the kind of builder that exists when they're not doing anything. Right? And so your motivations for getting the knowledge versus what continues, what makes you continue to keep it, what foments the reality of you forgetting it, letting it go, right? Not keeping it, not using it to its fullest extent. Clearly, not being able to build about the who, the what, the where, the why of God, the original black man, whose proper name is Allah, right? This is important. It's a little more light in the class. You can see actually my camo shirt, you know, got the matching hat. A wonderful gift by an actual student here. I was thinking about that on the way here. The amount of love, it led me to wear this because um, this shirt was a gift from a family member, right? They know I love polo. And the hat, matching hat, happened to be a gift from a student. And I've just been thinking about all the love that people share with me. You know what I mean? And it's wonderful, and it focuses me to work even harder. You know what I mean? I worked so hard at this thought process that after show and prove on Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, um, I've been nonstop doing things that I didn't even have time to collect the photos and make a post to say what I'm saying now. You know, and so it was nice. It was very nice. But this concept is very important. Motivations for getting versus the motivations for continuously keeping. And that's why you have to write a journal, because every year this will not be remembered. The first or second or third. You know what I mean? I remember it very well because I've been writing my ideas about all this stuff since. They never stopped. I never stopped. I never I never stopped writing. I never stopped updating things. I never stopped contemplating. So that's what happens. All right. So any questions that you have, that what I'm saying is not really something I need everyone to answer in here. Um, it's more of a personal thing. I don't want people to answer it and justify my motivations this, that. It's a reflective question, one from pondering, right? An example I had written was learning knowledge exotically versus realistically based on perspectives. You know, a lot of people deal with the mystery God because it's more exotic. There's an unknown that some people, it's funny because they always feel that there should be an unknown, and that's their science, their logical, even scientific reasoning why there's a mystery God to adhere to. um, the most scientific logic is better spent that it is us doing everything, and yet what we will do is unknown, and how profound we are able to do this is to be endlessly uncovered. This is most important. Peace. Peace. Right? This is most important. And so, like a scientist, the unknown isn't the end of the question, it's the continuing development of the question. All right? Very important. Very important. Peace, God. Peace, God. Science, God. Okay, anybody with any questions, let me know. I'm here. I'm here till 8 o'clock. Okay. Quiet today. All right. Okay. Let me talk about some other things. Reset ourselves, right? If there's anything that you would like me to talk about specifically, let me know. I'm just going to build on some things and just lecture here. Again, I could go about a lot of deeper degrees and stuff. I keep it simple because this class is to the entire world. All right. When we go deeper, it's because people are asking me, and usually it's off things. So I'm just going to come out with things that I want to share. Um, there's a lot of plus lessons that I do write for the classroom to build. The one that I'm working on, it's always being updated, but it's the Earth book list. And the beginner book list I write has to be updated because I'm not satisfied with it because I want to make it where it has books that everyone can get. There's actually for example, this one book that I can't even get because I had it and I lent it. I never got it back, and there's no digital version, and I cannot find it printed again. So it's even out of date for me. No use in having a very good book that is useful, and I can't even get it myself. I have to deal with it by memory and whatever notes I had in my old journals, which is sufficient for me, I guess, right? But not anything else. But the Earth book list, which, by the way, if you have an Earth, you have young Earths, this is relevant to you. But books about women's issues that are very specific to them, biographies, coming of age biographies, um, books about them, and I'm updating it with more books that I read. And also, I'm working on it because I haven't read every book in it, but I have every book in it. I haven't read every book on the list, but I'm getting there slowly but surely because I read about a lot of diverse books. So I don't just attack the list on one thing, but I intend to get through every book on the list. So if anyone is interested in it, I want to email it to you. If any Erts ask me for it so I can email it to you so you can give your thoughts on it. Or if you would like any of the books that are on it, let me know. I can give you all of them. All right. So this is especially for the Earths, though, to help me with the book list. Because I want to keep fine tuning it and stuff, always fine tuning it. All right. I'm also working on builds on the kind of a note sheet on the 1 to 10, build notes on the 1 to 10, student enrollment. I want to do it for the 1 to 14 and the 1 to 40. The 1 to 40, I'll probably do it in 3 parts: 0 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, and 31 to 40. So four different lessons, because it's big and I don't want to, I'll spread it out and make 4 different plus lessons for it. But they're not going to be answers. They're going to be ways to research it, things to note, basically notes to look into so you could develop your understanding. I don't want to just have things where I give you answers. That's ridiculous, and not really what we do at all.
I think I remember, yeah, on this side. Yes. Oh my God. How was it? I forgot how we do it. Cleans. Okay, here we go.
I don't have much thoughts about William Shakespeare. I think he's a great writer. Um, there are some plays of his I want to read again. He's a masterful writer, insightful. The To Be or Not to Be. I don't disagree with the line. Um, I think that's one of the. My brother was an English major and he's an actor. So and it's from Hamlet. So I think Hamlet was the right. That was the film that no, Hamlet was different, but I will tell you that I saw the tragedy of Macbeth a year 2 years ago, I think. Um, yeah, I think I saw it in 2022 because it came out 2021. So I know I saw it the next year um, with Denzel Washington. And I thought it was great. Denzel was masterful in that. Another great legendary performance. You know. But again, there are some plays of Shakespeare that I do want to read, build an appreciation for it. But he's a great writer. And when I saw Macbeth with Denzel, I started to reignite that interest, and I started to speak to my brother about it, my twin brother about it, because he would know where to start. And he told me to start with Hamlet. Um, I haven't yet though. I'm very slow. Um, but yeah, the one with Denzel, that was amazing. I thought that was amazing. I thought he was great in it. Um, if you don't have an appreciation for Shakespeare, definitely. It's not that long. I didn't find it to be long. If it was long, that tells you more about how good it was. But it's 105 minutes. It's a little. So it's not a super brief movie, but it's a good movie. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. And my twin brother lives in L.A. and he's an actor. You know, so I talk about acting. I learn about film with him. I get a greater appreciation. And trust me, just like with music, if you think you know film just by watching it, there are so many things that he sees that I would just dismiss, that he catches and become profound to the understanding once you know it. And that's why it's good to have an appreciation of the arts on a deeper level and to find people that know it or research things that know it. It's always good, always good. And that's a great example of that. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I think he's a legendary writer. It's amazing. He has incredible lines, poetic lines, exceptional stories. So yeah, and when you think of tragedies and tragic plays and stories, he's always going to be top of the list. You know what I mean? King, you said today's math is knowledge, understanding, all being born. The culture, learning who we are, lays the foundation for us to live our identity so that we may have a mental clarity on why living our own culture is important and not anyone else's. I see it. King, you asked me about my twin. You said, can you both pick up on one another's energy or what the other is gonna do or how each other will move? Not really. When we were younger, yes. You know, sometimes when we were young, I won't describe the dream, but we were haunted by the same dream when we were young. You know what I mean? And so little things like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, I remember when we were young, he was in a hospital, or I think was it? I think I was in a hospital. One of us was in a hospital. I was in the hospital, and while I was in the hospital, he was throwing up. So I was in the hospital for something else. I wasn't a flu, but he got sick. You know, little things like that. You know, and of course, though, it's a combination. Yes, your mind is certainly linked, but because we're together so much, though, we also have that link. You know what I mean? Where we see things the same way. When you have a bond with someone that you love when you're young as well, there's almost there's a secret entire dialect. We have we have song chants, choruses, jokes, stories, characters, mannerisms. You know what I'm saying? All that are in between us. And if other people know it, like family members, it's because they had to get clued in, because they're around us and stuff. But we have all of that as young, so you know we're never not going to be wonderfully close. You know, right? So you know what I'm saying? I think in the scheme of things, if we were to think peace, if we were to think about if those energies are off or anything like that, then it would probably be on my end, you know, because uh, I actively chose such a different life. You know, I worked to bring him to it, to give him this knowledge, but it wasn't for him. And so we could say that it was because of what I did had us veer in different directions where there are things that he may do that I find totally disagreeable or more so in his thing, he would find things I would do totally disagreeable. Whereas there are many things I do that he would not understand. You know what I'm saying? Where most of the things that he would do, maybe it's because of the way that we're taught as 5% is I understand. It doesn't bother me even if I disagree with it. But I don't think that exists on the other side. You know what I mean? So, you know, these are things that happen, you know? Um, when you get this knowledge, though, you really do make a line in the sand, I would say, with family, you know? And that's what happens, you know? And for them, it's bothersome. And sometimes they respond in ways that are, you know, not so peaceful. Um, maybe petty, maybe underhanded, whatever you want to say. But there is more that they do not know that we understand, and that cannot be denied. You know what I mean? You know. For example, and I say this only because it'll be useful to people. There's a lot of sacrifices that I gave to teach this. You know, to teach this means that you live it out and you make these sacrifices in other work. Remember, my line of work is the written word. So that means that I can't just hide behind the job. My job will have my written word. And so there are things I can't do. I can't even edit for certain places though. If what their written word is, even if it wasn't something I wrote, if it doesn't represent me or if it dishonors me. And these are things that they could not understand. And sometimes it sounds very noble on my part, but it doesn't feel noble because it makes it difficult to take care of your children. It makes it difficult um, for you to have access to them, uh, where people don't want to understand that. You know, um, it's a whole thing. Remember, this country, what they consider noble, they don't even honor, and and compensate for the nobilities that are performed by American citizens. American goes to war and stuff. He comes back, he has nothing. And the problems, the PTSD, the horrors, the things that they cannot deal with, that they need aid, that they sacrifice to do, they're not even given that, recompense. So, it's saying a lot, you Also, Lord Takim, peace. Claudio,
Peace.
better be training. Peace, peace. Understanding, right?
Almighty understand.
Almighty understand. Peace, God.
Peace.
Were you at the show proof?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
I was here Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, that's peace. That's peace. I missed you, but I'm glad that you were there. No doubt that I could not be in every room at every moment. You know what I mean? But people here were asking me about something and led to me saying I have a twin brother, and whether I feel his energies and things like that, things like that. And some of that is true, when you have a bond like that. But at the same time, I was saying that when you know someone that well and you grow up with someone known that well, it's a combination of genetics and epigenetics, the things that you live and stuff. But if anything veered off the path and veered us to separate us, I would have to take blame for that. We're the 5%. We choose a life that is different than the entire world accepts. And when you take this on, it draws a line in the sand with family. You know what I mean? And if you're young and you don't see it yet, or you don't see the big, it can be quite severe, that line in the sand. And it only shows up, right? It only shows up when you make those decisions of principle that they may not be accepting. They may not be of compromise. You know what I'm saying? They may not be of compromise with that. You know what I mean? Like I was saying, my career has been as a writer and editor. So once I got this knowledge of self, there were many things just under the principles of what we deal with that I could not write, that I could not allow to be edited. You know what I mean? It could be simple things. It could be about a song, or a person's quote. But we don't deal with wisdom knowledge, right? So if someone said the quote, oh, that's what they said, just put it. I said, no, we need the source. You know what I mean? And these are things that there was one magazine where they wanted to write things that were slanderous against someone, and they wanted me to write it. And they said, just put it under your byline, but I'll write it. Don't worry about it. And I said, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Just on a principle. If it was true, then I would have another decision to make, right? Because if it's true, then I have to say, is this what this magazine is about? It could be what the magazine is about, right? It could be what the publication is about. They're about slander, right? However, then the decision then would be whether I want to be part of that. But we didn't even get there because they wouldn't show and prove if what they were saying that person said was verified. You know what I mean? So I said, I can't write it. I can't write that down. I can't put that in there. So obviously it got pulled from me. You know what I'm saying? It got taken away from me. So eventually, in good graces, I left that magazine, that particular one. But again, this leaves you, like Dave Chappelle said, feeding your family integrity sandwiches. You know what I mean? It looks good. It seems noble. It is noble, but it doesn't feel noble. You know what I'm saying? So these are the sacrifices that happen. And if you don't have a support system, this is a lot of people don't understand that when things got rough to make those decisions of integrity, principles, many of the families that the gods had built up, these elders that you don't know that they had passed, they had made these decisions, and the women, the family members that were with them, and they said, you're doing a good thing and you're teaching in the community. But when they made these decisions, now all of a sudden they're not there. Why didn't you just swallow that? Why don't you swallow the pride there? Why didn't you just let that one go? You know what I'm saying? And that's not what we were taught. Our word is bond and bond is life. We should give our life before our word shall fail. Really bear witness to that. That's a pledge that's in it. You know what I'm saying? That's the knowledge degree. That's a pledge. If I know me, one, and I know the word, then that's the only thing that can bond the what? The wisdom, the way. If anything breaches that, then what mathematics is that? There is no mathematics for that. Right? These are the decisions that get made as a 5%er. You have to be ready for these decisions. I was ready for them as best as I could. You know what I'm saying? As best as I could. And it's a long and winding road. But King, you said when I got knowledge 36 years ago, drew a major line in the sand, and I became the butt of everyone's jokes in the family, and they respect me now. Even if they still don't agree, I've shown them. Yeah, a lot of times you have to show them by the way. And you know what? Great example.
Appreciate it.
A lot of a great example of that. Along with that, when we do the knowledge, though, we make decisions about other things that aren't blatantly in 120. For example, right, we change our diet. When I changed my diet, I had changed it all the way. You know what I'm saying? These are things that led me to be a 5%, because I was already vegan before I became a 5%. I was vegan for 3 years before I even got knowledge. For 3 years before I even came to the school. So I was already used to making grave decisions of consequence. You know what I mean? So this was an very, very easy decision to deal with this knowledge. But that example shows people would constantly make fun of me, belittle it, say it's not a big deal. Like, you could eat this, you'll be fine. It's okay, it's fun. And it's not going to ruin you. You're young and this and that, moderation, all these words, right? Yeah. Bullshit words. You know what I mean? Anybody that's ever achieved anything didn't do it in moderation. You know what I mean? You don't talk to a ball player and he goes, "Hey, how'd you make it to the NBA?" I played basketball, moderately. Yeah. Moderately through the years. And then one day they saw me playing and I got lucky and they saw me. That's never been the case. No. The worst ball player was not in the NBA, was the best ball player from his area. They were not playing moderately. You know what I'm saying? No one achieves anything doing it moderately. So why would you eat bad things moderately, thinking that it wouldn't do anything? You know what I'm saying? Bad things do things very well. Good things done moderately don't work well. Bad things done moderately work very well. Because you have to be consistent to do a bad thing. Every week, I'll eat this. Every week, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? So family would belittle me like that, make it seem like I'm ruining their viability to have ease in the society. I'm messing up people's ease. You know what I mean? I'm showing them that these are the wrong foods because I'm not eating them. So I could be at the table saying, "No, I'm not eating that." It already makes them feel like they're eating something that isn't proper. So now I'm offending them. You see how it works? So what happens is that over the years, when they see it on TV and they say, "Oh, look, chlorophyll is very good for you in the body," or greens and stuff, they say, "Hey, you were right about this," though, as they do the wrong thing. But none of that came to fruition. Everything about health, I was consistently right about. Belittled, I was always right. COVID vaccine came around and they said, "Listen, that's not going to be good for you. There's research out there." They did no research. You know what I'm saying? Their so-called studies were done and ended in about 1 or 2 weeks. That is not a study. That is not a study. And they were fraudulent, by the way, too, because they had studies that were supposed to be about 4, 5, 6 months long. And once they started to show detriment to the patients, they would lower. "Oh, we tested it for this amount of time, 2 weeks." People were getting sick at the next week. But you say the study was only for 2 weeks. Once they start getting sick, the study ends. We're only going to do it for this amount. You know what I'm saying? And so Everybody took a long-term product though, being given short-term results. No one listened to me at all. No one has apologized to me at all, even though there's mounds of evidence. Even though Fauci has been shown to be a fraud, right? A liar about 6 foot distance. There's no way you could stop yourself from a germ 6 foot away, 6 feet away. If I sneeze, you will smell it eventually. If you're in the same subway car for 3 stops, you're smelling everything that's in the car eventually.
Because it's contained in.
Yeah, it's contained in. There's no way. In fact, the automatic AC systems, heating systems, will circulate that air in seconds. You know what I'm saying? You know the new trains, though, you be smelling funk and you don't even know who's it come from. It's circulating air from people way down. Why don't you leave that there?
Sure.
Put it there.
Okay.
Yeah, there we
You gotta
go.
work around the AC and heater. They gotta be an airflow going in.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, you know, for the small amount of time I took HVAC with the God Raja, who, by the way, if you ever want to trade, if you really want to trade, I'm serious, and you want to, HVAC is a trade that will pay you, and you're young, it get you paid in 3 years. You have incredible pay, and no, HVAC is you know, air conditioning, vents, all that. The God Raja teaches a class here Sundays at 5, and he will get you in that. He will teach you. I did HVAC with him. You know what I'm saying? He's a great teacher, and I hated it, and I was learning it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't for me, and yet it was easy to do when I was with him. So if you're looking to do a trade and stuff like that, and you're like, listen, the God is teaching the classes. You know what I'm saying? Sundays at 5. You know. But what I'm saying is like, you know, there's all these things to do. You know what I'm saying? Really great.
Which mean? Alright. I thought I was going to see him third. This is the third.
He's on his way.
Is I was going to.
Let's please. Where you at in your degree, Scott? How you doing?
So I knowledge Supreme Master, Supreme Alphabets, the 1 to 10, and almost to the 136.
136. Okay.
Man, 110. I still have those. 136 as well, too.
Where you at, God? In one?
Huh?
Where you at in 120?
At 120? Oh, no. Just mathematics, something about doing 10, doing 136, 114.
You memorized all that. I know what 120 is. I'm saying, what have you memorized of it? You memorized 120?
Yeah.
Or maybe make a quote.
Yeah, I still have it in my bag. I still have it in my bag.
All right. When I ask you if you memorized it, it means that I can ask you any degree. You can quote it though. Don't be telling me you memorized it and you didn't. If you ain't got it strong, don't be saying that you knowledge 120. Okay. I'm saving you. I'm saving you.
He's saying.
I'm saving you. Okay.
He's saying.
Whatever you know, make sure you know it.
Yeah. You know, I was trying. You know, I was gonna wreck the store wrong.
Okay. Okay. Doesn't matter what you know. It matters whether you know it well enough. Okay. Racing through things. You're supposed to be getting a developing understanding as you go in. If you feel uncomfortable with the understanding that you have, right? Understand you're not supposed to understand everything. You need to get all of it first. However, you still may be uncomfortable with the understanding that you have at that moment. These are questions to bring up with your enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? You know, listen, I feel like I should know more about this. I feel like I want to know more about this now. What can I do? Because there's always things to research. There's always the type of student, peace. There's always the type of student to research as they go along. I'm not with the type of research where, peace God.
Peace with mighty God.
Peace to the God. Where like, oh, I'm studying 120. I'm not going to read anything. I'm not going to study anything. Don't think of your mind as so limited. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have enough time to do other things, that's one thing. And you want to spend all of it doing that. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay to read other things, to study other things, if you have the time to read it. Like if you don't have time, then that's another thing. You know, other students have Knowledge 120 while they're in college studying other courses and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it depends on your time and everything. It depends on your time. What do I think is studying 120? Not just memorizing it, but at this early stage, though, you should be developing questions about it. Not trying to figure out the degree, but the questions. Okay? You should be formulating questions, though. Why is it like this? Why did they write it here? You know what I'm saying? As you go along, why is this repeated? You know what I'm saying? Like, in other words, you should be noting phrases that you never heard before. You know what I mean? Dialect, said birth record. People don't speak that way anymore. It's an old way of speaking. You know what I'm saying? You know, questions to yourself, questions that really are technically almost unanswerable, right? You see the useful land, right? Well, what is useful land? Why does the devil have more useful land? You know what I'm saying? I said what you think about it, but what do you think Elijah meant by it? Because he could have meant something by it, but your understanding might be different as far as how you utilize that concept. You see what I'm saying? These are things to think about. Cream of the planet Earth, though. People give you a definite build on it and a definite answer, but cream of the planet Earth is a metaphor. It's a metaphor. You know what I mean? How do you see that? Why is that in there? Why is maker and owner separated in knowledge degree? These are things to ask yourself, to really analyze, and come to some type of explanation, but always better yet, questions. You know what I'm saying? A scientist is based on questions, not answers. You know what I mean? We always see like a eureka moment. There's two things people think happens in one shot. Peace. People think that inventions happen in one moment, aka like creations, things you create, and people think that enlightenment happens in one moment. Peace to the God, right? That it happens in one moment. It's not true. Many of the ancient texts, enlightenment happens little by little. You know what I mean? Little by little. It never happens in one shot. You know what I'm saying? It happens bit by bit. Realizations, they call it. You know what I'm saying? So when you create stuff, they don't always happen in one shot either. They happen piece by piece. You know what I'm saying? You could write something in one shot, and yet it still wasn't in one moment, because it took a long time for it to stay in that mind, be developed, ever developed. So these are important things to think about. You know what I'm saying? Anybody have any questions about anything here? Let me know. If you have any questions here, let me know. I think one thing when you're studying the 1 to 36, though, this came to my head because you said you're on the 1 to 36, right? People will dismiss it and say it's only relevant to the so-called Black American, right? What's your ethnicity? It's Black American, right? Dominican, right? People say it only fits the Black American, right? I disagree with that wholeheartedly. You know what I mean? It directly is showing that reality, but it's showing the reality of slavery and being brought here. So that really relates to everyone. You know what I mean? But it relates to all of humanity because the concepts in there could happen under any reality where oppression exists and domination is being dealt with. You know what I'm saying? And domination is taking its hand. You know what I mean? By the mental influence, right? Fooling them, right? Proposing certain things into orientations, right? So it's something that is universal, you know? It certainly applies to Dominican Republic as well. You know what I mean? Dominican Republic is a country that they don't see themselves as having survived slavery because the slave was treated differently. The slave was treated as someone that was just under slavery, but not someone that was a natural slave. You get what I'm saying? In other words, this is a condition that you're in. Eventually, you could be out of the condition, and then you're not a slave anymore. That is so different. That's something different than that Spaniards did than other conquerors. You know what I'm saying? So it's not humane. They made you a slave, but there is a possibility of some of the humanity being recovered at a different pace, certainly faster paces than the British, for example. They enslaved here in America, throughout the English Caribbean, and now you were seen as subhuman. So it doesn't matter if you ever buy yourself out of slavery, though. You are basically the worst of the worst. You're subhuman. This is different. This affects people epigenetically, and it is a crucial aspect, as you'll see later when you get to the 1 to 40, of how the devil was made. The devil was made not just by a physical process of breeding, selective breeding, and destruction of the seed, the separation and destruction of the seeds, the dilution of the blood, and other rules and regulations not mentioned in the lesson, to defile, to ruin, to deconstruct. But what was also done was the mental aspect. Right? So the Wisdom Bill Doogie says the nurse stuck a pin in its head. That means that it was what? Aborting. However, she also told them the lie, right? That aborted baby was an angel baby. The one that will survive, that is allowed to live, though, lives not because it wasn't killed and let to live. It lives because it will be a holy baby. This is different. There is a not only a greater humanity given, an unequal humanity, but it is also a subhumanism that's being implanted. There's a reason why that one doesn't survive. So in Yakub society, remember, the darker one never survives. The darker one is temporary. The darker ones that live know that they are merely a means to an end. You see? And because they are taught this mentally, there was no prison houses built to imprison them. They will continue this. This will be their mission. In other words, it could be noble as well. My mission is to get to the place where we are what? Lighter, of a new type. You see? They may not see it noble. Just like in Dominican Republic, the Dominican mindset of lighting and whitening, it's there. I have 2 children, and both of them are half Dominican. I've been around a lot of Dominican families.
I was going to say, well, I'm in Jamaica, bleaching is a popular thing.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
All Africans, like, I'm actually my family came from Nigeria, but we're Africans.
Okay.
That is kind of socially accepted.
It's common.
And even dark skin too. Like, right?
It is common.
That's a lot of society influences, though. I mean, society believes. I mean, bro.
Yeah. Because remember, in South America, the Latin Caribbean, the English Caribbean, that self-hatred is seen as a survival tactic. The lighter child, though, is going to have a better way of doing things. They're going to have an easier time. So it's almost seen as noble to try to whiten the race. Why would you want children to have a hard time? You know what I mean? Just like, and remember, especially with so-called Latinos, they already went through their own conquerors. Their own conquerors, the Spaniards, who are half original, right? Enlightened, educated, civilized by the Moors, exiled the Moors when they got to all that level, had war with the Moors for a few years, were able to exile them and stop the existence of them. In other words, their culture being overt. They had to take all the things that they taught them. They're not going to throw away civilization. but they're going to hide it. And thus the Spanish Inquisition. If we inquire about your deposition and find out that you were a Muslim, like these Moors, you will get put to death. You will be exiled. And so the Spanish Inquisition, peace!
Peace.
And so the Spanish Inquisition is about silencing. The Spanish Inquisition is about what? Keeping quiet. Don't let them know your roots. Hide your roots. Hide them by not doing the religion, not doing the things that you do. Yeah. Very, very overt.
Culture vultures.
And so now those Spaniards take that, they become a new whitened, grafted, mentally people that come to conquer. You know what I mean? I always love this. In Puerto Rico, I always say this. The national instrument is the cuatro. That is a four-string cuatro, four-string guitar, right? And I always feel it should be a different instrument. I feel it should be a conga. I'm just saying, that's, bongo. I love the bongos. That's my favorite instrument. But at the same time, we know that they picked it because they wanted to make it seem a little bit more European, the heritage. But the string instruments that affect and are wonderfully throughout all of Europe, the piano, which is a string instrument, except it is played percussively. In other words, you bang it because you bang the key and it hits the string. But the piano, the harp, all manners of guitars, right? Cuba has the tres, the three-string, right? All of those are from the Moorish history, golden age of the Moor. Thick book of many scholars added onto it. There's a great essay, long essay at the end, about Moorish music theory. All of that comes from the Moors. The Spaniards did not invent those. They were given those, and they embraced those. It was not given to them. You know what I mean? Some of those African traditions are even lost to us, though, because we play, right, from the Latin Caribbean, we play instruments based on West African rhythms. The 4/4, right? 3/5. The southern Spain, the southern Spaniard roots of the Romani people, those are original peoples that have Moorish roots. They do not play in that rhythm. And that's what you hear in flamenco. If you ever hear flamenco, you ever hear the clapping, listen to it carefully. To our rhythms, it's not even like James Brown on the one, right? Or on the downbeat like Motown and soul and all that. It's awkward to us because they play in a totally different rhythm. Because it's a different African rhythm. It's from East Africa. You know what I mean? We don't really play that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
What dominates the world is the rhythms that we got from West Africa. You know what I'm saying? And how that was incorporated into the rhythms that we had, because we had indigenous people that were already here had percussive instruments already. You know what I mean? So it flourished and it blended wonderfully. But anyway, I say all that. You know what I mean? When you go through all of these degrees, you see the mental and the physical aspects. Do not discount anything mental. That's why we have this knowledge. Never discount it. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it crazy, but every time someone says something negatively about our people, you know what I'm saying? Don't think that doesn't have an effect of reality. That doesn't have the potential to affect. To downgrade. Peace.
Peace, yeah.
To downgrade, to demean, to dehumanize. You know what I'm saying? All of that has the potential to do that. So it's very important to recognize that in all the speech. This is why when we get knowledge of self, we're always angry. We're noting it so much with the way people talk, with the way people move. What I say is to keep your sanity, and I say it's the best way to intervene is always when it's to defend the young and their thoughts. To this day, it's countless times where I intervene because people will say ignorant things around my children. I won't have them deprogrammed. I won't have them think that I stayed quiet, right? Just like it says when you get married, right? Anyone disagrees with this? Say something now or forever hold your peace. It's not peace. I will not hold it.
Nah, me neither.
You know what I'm saying? I will not hold it. Especially it's for the children. But if you're there and it's only you and everything like that, then you can let it go. You have a shield. You have this knowledge of yourself. You have a shield. But when do you know when to speak up? That's when you speak up. You know what I'm saying? When you see something that is affecting someone else that is young, that you know is detrimental to them, you know, right? I never let my children and keep quiet when I hear people saying things. Niggas ain't shit. This and that. I don't care if they're talking about all of us. I don't care if I'm in a room and they're talking about Black Americans and I'm in a room of Latinos saying that shit. If I got my children around me and all that, you're gonna hear different. You know what I'm saying? If I'm there and they think that's cool with me, I'm gonna say, yeah, some ignorant ass motherfuckers right here. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna let it go. They're the 85%. They're the 85%. The real question is, why am I in this room listening to this?
That part.
Right? That would be the question, right?
That part.
Am I building something with them? Am I doing? No, you know? Because the only time I hear really things like that is if I'm on a train, if I'm traveling somewhere. You know? Oh, the song finished and there's a lot of gap between songs. Oh, I hear this dumb shit. Okay. But if you're in ciphers that are this week, you're going to have to ask yourself. The gods have always told us something. The elders used to always say this. You know what I'm saying? And I remember Colleen used to say it. Umala used to say it. When you're around the 85%, things will always happen. It is never static. They are either going to be more like you or you are going to be more like them.
Show me
You know
your
what I'm
friend,
saying?
show you are.
So watch yourself.
Show me your friend, I'll show you are.
Right? You know what I mean? And this is powerful because the father took that challenge. The father was on the corner talking to everybody, you know, chatting it up, drinking, smoking.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody was becoming more like him. Right? Playing dice, rolling, gambling, all of that, drinking.
Yeah.
But everybody's becoming more like him. You know what I'm saying? Making their time more worthwhile. Making it more useful. Very important. Very important. And I say this though, it doesn't mean that you're gonna go into ciphers and change them and I have to show my power. As soon as you said that, that was the elders just telling. It means this though. If it is worth changing it, if it was worth affecting that cipher, then affect it. But oftentimes it's a test to say, listen, why am I in this cipher? You know? Am I really doing something here? It's a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? A lot of time getting this knowledge is to question the environments that we're around and really our impact in these environments. You know what I'm saying? You know? Even when you with children, like a lot of parents have children and they do nothing with them. They're keeping them alive. A lot of people deal with their children like pets. You know what I'm saying? They command them, they'll play with them. You're supposed to play with them. They clean them up, take them out for a walk and everything, but they don't do things with them. Like we're creators of the universe. We created all this. So with your children, it's important that you find something to create with them. Find out what they love to create. Engage them. Find out what they like. Give them a free voice to express themselves. And then see what they're about. Constantly. You know what I mean? Right? I pick up my daughter. I'm just doing the knowledge. Because I have her comfortable where now it's about 30 minutes. I have to hear all of the things that have happened. The dramas, the beef, the things that she's created, all of these things. We got to catch up. But I'm telling you, I see it all the time. I see people pick up their parents at schools. I see, parents pick up their kids. There's no love there. They're just picking up like a robot, like a puppy. You know? Come on, let's go. Come on. Kid lags behind. You just walk out. You know what I'm saying? There's no engagement. You know what I'm saying? There's no engagement. You know what I'm saying? As if what the child experienced today wasn't completely different than yesterday. You know what I mean? And it always is. When kids say that, that means that you're not on that level to get the depth, the details of how this day was different. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because if kids find every day like the way you find, maybe people find their jobs like, oh, it's a boring job, and oh, it's the same old, and I got through it, it's another day.
Something's wrong.
Right? Something is wrong. That's right, God. Because that means they're either not telling you stuff or they're not happy with school. They're not being engaged. You know what I mean? So this is important. You know what I mean? Even the bad kids, you know, the Tao Te Ching, right? The way in its power. That's what that means. The Tao Te Ching, the way in its power, right? It says the good teacher is always in charge of the bad student. It means that, just like the Father, we teach the downtrodden. The good student doesn't need teaching. He's his own teacher. You know what I'm saying? He knows when to study, he knows when to do this. He's good. You know what I mean? But the good teacher is in charge of the bad. You know what I mean? And and trust me, because of this, the schools I go to, they've already seen that I can get through the bad kids. Because I've been here for years, God. We only get bad kids going.
Yeah.
We only get tough. You know what I mean? We get the kids that been through things. We get the young men that have been through things. You know what I'm saying? They've made decisions to say, listen, we got to fix this. And they're here to fix that. You know what I mean? And so when you got the kids that have dealt with things, right? I treat them like every day is unique as well. I don't go, did you get in trouble again? I say, hey, what'd you do? Because when they got in trouble again, no, it's going to be for a different reason. People don't respect the bad kids' reason for getting in trouble every day either. You know what I mean? You treat them like everything is unique to them, you're going to find out what they're doing wrong and help them. Instead of lumping up all the things like, yo, you just need to stop being bad. You need to follow directions. Like, just give them some generic answer like that. Then you're part of the problem. You're like everybody else. You know what I mean? That doesn't happen with me. I actually listen. You know what I'm saying? I went to these schools though. Grafton man gives me he thinks he's sabotaging. He gives me the worst kids. He said, watch this kid, but I'm gonna give him to you, but he's not really, he's gonna cause trouble and things like that. You do the best you can. That's what I'm telling you. Do the best you can. And get the kid at the end. This is the end of the school year. Though. It's like when I'm trained and ready. Being respectful to their mother, to their father. You know what I mean? Right? This is how we do. This is what we do. 5%. You ask the kid, he goes, "Yo, is Mr. Sunez? Is he the true and living God?" I said, what? They don't know. We just teach them. You know what I'm saying? What's the science guy? You was gonna say something?
No, science.
What was you gonna say? I saw you raise your hand.
Oh, yeah. I gotta tell you something about it.
You wanna share it now?
Yeah, all of it. But,
Bill, got it.
The ways where I pressure myself. I'm back in the street game, okay? And yes, I know that, and I'm with the crew with Sunez Empire now, with also the brothers, a young brother who came from P.E.A.C.E, New York, who came to the shelter when he plays. Now he got his own crew. He's the leader of the game, and now I'm part of him too. We're partners. Huh?
Okay.
Because Psycho Empire. So that means we're like
What's your physical degree, God?
my physical degree.
Yeah.
Wow.
Age.
Age, right? Yeah. Wisdom. Turn wisdom, understanding.
You a grown man, though. You a grown man. Why are you in the game?
Okay. No, I smoke some blunts.
Does it give you? What does it give you? What does it give you? Look, I'm gonna go down the list. Protection.
Yeah.
For what?
From other gangs.
From other gangs.
And,
Okay.
and mostly enemies too.
In what ciphers? Why would you need protection from other gangs? Why would you need protection from other gangs?
Cause now.
Don't be explicit. We're filming here.
Oh man, I can't be there.
Listen to me.
What?
You're too old for that.
I know.
You're too old for that. So I know that you're doing something stupid. Okay?
No.
Listen, if you need protection from other gangs, and that's why you have to be in a gang, that means you're doing stuff that gangs do. You see? And now you're in that battle. Which means, though, that you know you're doing the wrong thing. Right? So that means that you're already in ciphers that you shouldn't be in. Now listen, with my profession, right? I go around every borough, and then with my hip hop career, listen now. With my hip hop career, I have to go to every single neighborhood. I've been doing this before the internet. So when I used to do interviews, we used to have to go to that person's neighborhood. You understand?
Yeah.
Everywhere in the Bronx, everywhere in Medina, everywhere in Queens. By myself.
Right.
What protected me everywhere was this flag and being able to uphold it. I can't tell you how many places I went with this flag and people were like, "Who are you?" And I said, "Sunez Allah." And as years went by, people knew that name. Somehow, some way. They saw it written somewhere, they heard it somewhere, or they saw me somewhere. So what I'm saying is this, right?
Yeah.
You got this knowledge, though.
Mm-hmm.
You're old enough.
Mm-hmm.
That means that you should be making something where what? Where what you create, the life that you make, though, represents what? You. As what?
As God.
As God. The stuff you're doing and what you're saying isn't representing that.
No.
At all.
No,
At all. If you were younger, I'd give you a whipping. You're too old for this. If you don't have any other way of making some kind of money, I just told you, the God Raja is teaching HVAC on Sunday. Men your age, though, can get a trade immediately. I've worked with him when I was unemployed. I told you I'm a writer editor. It is not easy, right? I'm a writer, editor, teacher, right? That's not my trade. I didn't care for it, and yet I was doing it correctly. You understand? And I was making money when I was with him. Okay? Stop being foolish. Where you're at, though, you're supposed to uphold this. Okay? And if you're trying to do something that was undone before, right? You're stuck in the 10th degree in the 1 to 40. Because that experiment has been tried long ago. Right? For trillions of years, they searched for that mystery God to be dominant in a gang and have been unable to make him and find him and produce him. You have options that are right here. You understand? Now, I'm going to be very real with you. I say everything nice, though. Out of all the years teaching here, right? I don't yell. I don't scream at people. I say things very nice. I tell you the truth. I tell you the truth, right? Instead of looking out with a gang and stuff like that, you need to be on your studies. You need to make sure that your diction, the way that you speak, is even more clear. It is not clear right now. Many places you work, though, the way you speak right now is not suitable. So if you have learning impediments and all these kind of things, you need to work on that. Now, you're not a teenager. I don't have to walk you through that.
Right.
You have to know that. I'm diagnosing you right now because you're prescribing yourself wrong when you leave the store. You need to have the clarity to be able to express yourself properly. So that means that you need to spend your time off the street. You need to spend your time reading. You need to spend your time practicing speaking. Okay? And you need to find classes where they have that. I can tell you how to do that. I can find that for you. But you also need to get work that's going to get you paid so you don't have to say, I need this gang, and now to get paid, I have to do some things like sell this and sell that.
So I saw what I wanted.
Listen, that's not even an illegal pursuit anymore. So if you're trying to sell that, you're already doing it the wrong way. So you're working backwards here. Like I said, there's brothers here teaching the trade, right? That can get you paid immediately. That can get you to places though. Okay? The God got me a job and I was already way too old. They don't look for young people like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like they say, hey, look, he looks young and able, but he looks strong and everything like that. Let him do it and stuff like that. That's not how life works. People look at your age, they assume something immediately. You know? Ageism and racism is very real in all pursuits, all industry. But you got it in here. Use your resources. You're coming to a school daily, right? And you're not using the resources of the school right now. You're being a fool.
That's all leave.
Is it that simple? Is it that simple? Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't listen to what I have to say and say, oh, well, Sunez is kicking me out because I'm not writing exact. When you say, oh, if you act like I'm kicking you out, then what you're saying to me is, well, look, he's telling me what's right and exact, but I am going to continue to be wrong and incorrect. So I'm going to leave now. Is that what you're saying to me?
No.
Don't be clever with me.
Okay.
Don't be clever with me with your words, though. You know what I'm saying? Don't be clever with me with your words and your actions and stuff. Because the only one that's hurt is you. When I leave here, everything that I taught people to study, to research, I already researched it. When I go home, I'm researching something totally different. I'm working on something totally different. Building, creating. I'm telling you that you're at a school for what? Outreach. It says it on the top. Don't it say that, Almighty understand? Yeah. Outreach. Reach out. We reached out. I'm reaching out now. You have the resources here. I told you today that it's here. Okay? Get yourself together. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about it. Peace, God.
Question for you. Right? Does being in the gang allow you to progress, elevate yourself in a positive direction?
Well, one gang.
No, answer the question. Does being in the gang allow you to elevate or progress yourself in a positive direction?
Yes.
For yourself, who you are, you're square. You're flourishing right now, you're progressing in a positive direction, you're leading yourself mentally, physically? For being in the gang? Just answer my question. Obviously not. You can't get it. Obviously not. So I'll be part of it. I'm only part of something. I'll elevate myself, who I am, mentally, physically, and progress forward, positive. It's not about that I'm not good. There's any many choices as far as like, I mean, like, look how gangs are doing size to be blood. The big homie. That's like a long time ago.
Do the knowledge, please.
I mean, Kamikaze Red. Look, I'm in the book. Look me up. Kamikaze Red. I banged out for 13 years. Black or Mac, come up, all of them, you know, Peter, Pistol Pete, I'm in the book, like I said, but besides the fact, that's for the long, bro. The benefit be nothing like, got nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Street cred, what's that about? You know what I mean?
You know,
Street
in
cred.
the streets, I can't snitch.
You think about snitching? What are you talking about? I don't know. We'll talk about something. You know, you're not really getting what I'm saying to you, you know.
Let me tell you something, right? When I was 22 years old, I'll tell you my 22-year-old, my 22nd year of life. I was in college though. By then I had already published 100 articles at the school newspaper.
That part.
Right? Magazines from other magazines were recruiting me already. I'd already been through Vibe and it was in double XL at the time. Never sent a resume, never went to the office, never asked for a job.
No.
I took the opportunity to write in the school paper and people found me. They were bloodsuckers, but I'm just saying, they found me, right? But in that 22nd year, I still felt I needed more. In that 22nd year of my life, though, the God Day Sun saw my writing and came up to me. I wrote I was God in a lot of the editorial pieces I wrote. He said, yo, you God? I said, yeah, but I didn't have this knowledge. I just was, if it's in the music, I could say it too, right? That 22nd year, I didn't go to school with him. I I prepared myself because I thought I had to be prepared, so I wouldn't get bombed or turned away. After classes that were very demanding, because I didn't like my degree, I was stuck in it. I couldn't afford to start over again. I read everything I could find. I read African Origin of Civilization, Afrocentricity, Asante. I read Message to the Black Man, Our Savior Has Arrived, countless other books I was reading. The books I read, I tried to write about them. Right? I couldn't rip out all the pages. It started like this. I couldn't rip out all the pages of African Origin of Civilization. No, Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Such a great book. I couldn't rip out every page. So I got a journal and I started to write down everything that was said. As I was writing everything down, I had my thoughts about it. Those became commentaries. As I went along, I said, I'm going to write these down like if he's right in front of me and I'm discoursing with him. So I'm not going to write it in the way I talk to kids on the street or anybody else or my friends. I'm going to write it like we're in a lecture hall. This developed my ability to speak just because I was writing it that way. This became the first journals I ever wrote, 1998, the first journals. As of this moment, though, I'm on my 78th journal. It's at the bottom of this duffel bag. I'm not trying to get it out right now. You know what I mean? 78th, and I spent about 10 years without writing in it. So there's about 10 years where I didn't write in the journal. Just because I was writing so many things, I didn't have time, and I didn't know how to inject it back into my life until a few years ago, right? So what I'm saying is that I was working, not agreeing with anything I was learning in school, but saying, I'm just going to finish this. I hate everything in this school. I hate the business degree. I hate capitalism. I became anti-capitalist, though, and I'm getting a capitalist degree about business management and marketing. And I think it's the most atrocious things in the universe. This is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But I'm learning everything because I figured I could write about music. I could write about hip hop. You understand? So I'm going to learn everything I can about that. God found me, and I started to try to learn about everything about that because it's about me now. You understand? These are the pursuits that you should be addicted to. Push everybody out of the way. Learn how to express yourself. See, to me, you're not putting your thoughts properly, and so you're letting other people fill it in. You know what I mean? You're beyond all that. A lot of people look at me. You know why? Do you know why I wear all this polo? You know I'm wearing polo from head to toe, right? Everything you don't see is polo. Whatever you see under here is polo. The bags is polo. Everything is polo. I'm part of the lowlives. That was a gang. Sunez has never been in a gang. Never did gang activity. But when they decided that they were going to be a hip-hop organization, where now the greatest of lowlives get paid by Ralph Lauren. Yes, they do. Rack Low does events. Thurston Howe models for them, does other things.
Sure.
Ralph Lauren's documentary about him on HBO has about a 20-minute segment about who? The lowlives. Thurston Howe's in it with others. That important because they changed themselves from a gang to saying, we're going to steal this polo to keep ourselves alive. I know this because the original lowlives I know.
You know, really low lives. And mine is the empire.
What I'm saying is this. Do the knowledge. Do the knowledge.
I do know.
Right? Good.
What I'm gonna do? Buy a documentary about me because I used to be the crew. Now
Listen what I'm saying, though.
But you know how you gonna sing.
They didn't want to be a gang. They wanted to be more than that. When they asked me to be part of the low lives, it was under that guise. We go everywhere and change the cipher. You understand?
You understand?
So there was good brothers in there already doing this work. But when they put me on, it gets even better. Do you understand what I'm saying? We change it better. You look at low lives now, we look like a fashion crew. We have MCs, we have every type of artist you could think of. We flood everything. There's low lives in every cipher. If there's a good song, there's a low life somewhere around. Guaranteed. Right? So what I'm saying is this, though. Change the perspective. You either build it up or you're destroying with them. You know what I mean? And you know that's not the pursuit. You're not coming here saying you're the true and living God and then get to be the true and living God here because you're a grown man. You don't get to walk into my school here and say you're the true and living God and say I'm God hanging out and then go back to where you're going. Where you going? Where do you rest at?
Rochester.
Rochester. You get to go back to Rochester and say
Rochester.
wherever you're going,
Yeah.
and say that you're in the gang and be part of a gang lifestyle there, teaching nobody there. Because when you teach him like that, oh yeah, he says he's the God, but he's in, he's gang like us though. You know what I mean? His principles are,
They don't allow it.
any which way the wind blows, like the Syl Johnson song says, right? You go into ciphers, you want him to know, man, he really does understand. You feel me? You go into ciphers, they say, listen, when he's around, we got to be on our P's and Q's. See, when I'm around, people show and prove, though. They don't fuck around. If they was fucking around with these degrees, they get sharp. If they was, they're going to show me their best part. You know why? Because the works I put in, though, people know this name. Because when no one is around, when I'm by myself, the most important word is bond is to who? Myself. And so I read, right? Right? I told you, look, there goes 300 pages a week that I read. Who's testing it? Can you prove that? Oh, you know what I'm saying? I know. You know what I'm saying? I know. And when it gets done, though, the world will see that proof under different conditions. Stronger books, stronger words. You know what I mean? Right? Stronger abilities to share what needs to be shared, knowing certain things that people need to know, ought to know, might possibly want to know. Just fun to know. It's important though. You're 22. You should be exploring the depth.
Turning 23.
The depth of your understanding is being developed now. You should be trying things that'll make you great, not trying things that'll leave you lesser. You're too old to be out there. You're an old ass pitcher. You should be out of the game though. You should be retired. We don't need no old pitchers, but you're young to do all these great things. See? There's certain things you're old for. That's you're old for. You're never too old to make music. You're never too old to write. You're never too old to make a poem. You know what I'm saying? You're never too old to be athletic. You're never too old to do kung fu. Trust me. You're damn always too old to do some crime shit. You know what I mean? Especially when you got the outlets here. You'd be like, listen, I'm not doing this anymore. Look, we're not telling you to snitch. No, leave all that behind. Let them do what they do. Snitching would be being part of their reality more. Where what you say has to affect them negatively? No, leave them alone. Let them do what they do. But you say, listen, I come here Sunday and I start learning with the God. You could be doing HVAC in a month. I'm telling you, the God Raja is, I taught him the knowledge of self.
Yeah, right.
The God Raja teaching on Sunday, I taught him. And when I was down and out, though, he taught me HVAC. When none of these magazines were fucking with me, when all of my personal pursuits are not shelling out the dough like that, right?
That goes back to what you said about having a support system.
That's right. That's right. I chose this life, but it ain't easy. And when it was going down, God was looking out for me. Because of the love that I get, the things that I've done. Man, when some of my books weren't selling, when that's all I had, when all I had was this, God would be like, yo, God, I love you, God. And they would just cash at me something. I didn't even ask.
So.
But because God's an A-light in tune, I'd be like, damn, God just threw me this note, and I needed it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When I was down and out, I got downsized by a publishing company. They took it overseas. I was unemployed. That's when the God Day Sun brought me to the Source magazine. You know what I mean? Like I said, build and find your connections. They're here. I'm telling you, if you don't take the opportunity, you're being a fool. If you go back out there and say, "Lord, this is easier, this is what I want to do," no. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? There's times you make a difficult decision, it's harder, and everybody will disagree with you. Sometimes that's the way it is. You know what I'm saying? But in this case, though, you're doing something that's not even fruitful for you. I know you're not walking out there and saying, "Yeah, I'm the God, man. What's today's mathematics, though?" You know what I mean? No, you're not doing none of that.
I was not.
That's a waste of time in that cipher. Unless there's a young that you building it. But when you build them up right, they're gonna be like, "Why are you here still?" Babies are the greatest, though. I'll tell you something, man. Dope stuff. This is unrelated, but it was just dope, and it shows the babies are the greatest, man. I have a class though where I teach music appreciation, and part of it is about getting the kids to play songs that they like. That way, they have an ear. Oh, I like that, and want to figure it out what they heard or something like that, right? Develop their likes and dislikes and understand why they like it. Why do you like this? That's how it develops. One of the boys, he plays a gospel song, right? CeCe Winans song. Peace, God. We're all listening to the lyrics, though. At the time, now I've developed them, so they listen to lyrics. These are second graders. They really listen to lyrics. And the boy that didn't pick the song, he's like, man, how she know where God is? Where is he? How does she's singing about him knowing who God is, but she ain't met him? Don't you gotta be dead to meet him? He's like, he ain't here right now, so how you know? He's like questioning the mystery. And I was like, I see you. Ain't nobody seen him. The God that they talking about, they haven't seen yet. You know what I mean? And I was like, get on there. You know what I mean? Right? And the boy's name started with the words Jah. I'm gonna say his name, right? Jah. And I was like, man, the kid's name right though. You know what I mean? But build. These young brothers here. Let me ask you, what are you young brothers doing? Let me put you on the spot. What are you brothers doing as a livelihood or getting to a livelihood that you want?
I'm an after-school coach at West 52nd. So
That's excellent. That's excellent.
Make sure they do their homework. Make sure they.
That's peace. That's peace, God. These are things that lead to other things. When you work jobs like that, you get great recommendations. It can lead to things in the education system. That's excellent. What you got?
I'm also an after-school teacher.
That's peace, God.
The same thing.
These are things that extend everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And listen, the things I've done that didn't get me money ended up getting me money. I teach at tons of school, and I teach things that I never did to get money. I teach martial arts at schools. You know what I'm saying? I teach music, and right? That never gets me the money I'm supposed to get. You know what I mean? Hip hop don't get me the money I'm supposed to get. It just gets me the money I get. You know what I mean? People like bad music. That's always been the case. That's not a hip hop thing. That's an every music thing. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, though, is that what first caught the people's eye of me being able to teach was the martial arts. Because that was what the schools have the most interest for. I went in there and I taught and everything. And all of a sudden, they see all the young kids being killers out there. You know what I mean? And you're like, damn, he teaching. You know what I mean? Rough house kids are getting disciplined, though. They listening. They all, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. But it was because of things I did, extracurricular. What do you spend your free time doing? You in the gang, you spending your free time doing what? On the corner. You know what I'm saying? Money pursuits and the in-between between the money pursuits. I'm telling you.
You keep phrase, a lot of young kids doing nowadays. I'm children.
Listen, LeBron James is only basketball. Ain't nobody supposed to be doing sports on the street that long. Not that pitching. You're too old to be a pitcher. You're too old to be in the gang unless you're building them up. You know what I mean? The father built, and everyone that was in the gang had to hide that if they was doing something dumb. And everybody, every single gang that had knowledge of self, all different gangs, they was all peaceful with each other because they wasn't under the gang when they was around the father and they was being God. And eventually they all knew, all of them knew that that was the way out, that that wasn't the thing to do. And all of them grew up. I knew Papa Wu. I was with him. He wasn't that age and going, yeah, I'm still in the gang. No. The gang was, he taught Wu-Tang. That's the gang now. He taught Wu-Tang. That's the gang. When he talked about the gangs that was past tense. He understood the youth, that they was dumb and they was young and dumb and all that, and they would do certain things and eventually get out. But yo, if he was here, he'd be screaming at you. You being wisdom, and dealing with that. And like I said, you just came in, God. Other things, even if you don't want to do that, as a young man, it's good to have other trades. And the God Raja, that's all I taught. Like I said, I taught him. I know the God is official. And I did HVAC with him. He's teaching HVAC every Sunday, 5 to 9.
Yeah, I met him at Sean.
Yeah. So if you want to get another trade, like, yo, I'm doing this. That's what I'm going to do, right? Listen, when I told him, listen, that wasn't what I loved, Raja. I was just joking with him on Sunday, but you know, right? At the same time, I learned it when I needed to learn it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the most stubborn with that. You know what I'm saying? But when I needed to learn it, I learned it. You know what I mean? So I'm saying there's opportunities here and stuff. You know what I mean? This is a real school. Use it. You know what I mean? Build. You go back home, though, you should be building, though. And for me, you should be building in your room quietly. Your room quietly. And you need to be speaking in your room for hours about who you are and showing and proving. You need to work on your diction, your pronunciation, and getting these thoughts out properly. That's the practice you need. Any job, any work that you're going to do, you're going to need to be articulate. You know what articulate means? Being able to express yourself properly. Right? That's the practice, though, God. You're in my classroom. I'm going to tell you what you need. I give you the grade. You know what I'm saying? You go out and fulfill that. When I came in, knowledge me, remembered imperfection, he was like hard on everybody. And I would see the class dwindle. It was like, oh, I get through, guys. I need to come back. You know what I mean? And he said, God, Sunez. He asked everybody, what is it that you do? Because you're like, oh, I'm young. I'm just a kid. I'm in school. You better bring me back a perfect report card. I want to see a copy. The other kid goes, yeah, I'm old. I'm older and I work here and stuff like that. Okay, then you got to do this for the nation. Because if the job applies to something you can do it in school, oh, you better come back and do that. You know what I mean? Don't say you're a plumber and you can fix this, right? So what do you do, Sunez? Well, you know, God, I'm a writer. I'm a writer and an editor and everything. He goes, Sunez, because he's always hard on me. You go make a magazine. And this is before the internet. This is before the internet blew off. This is born. He said, make a magazine. I don't say no to my enlightener. I went out there and I said, hey, son, we got to do this, man. We took funds from the school. We sequestered them, right?
Yep.
We made a magazine. I brought back a physical magazine to show and prove. You know what I'm saying? And I sold it at the show and prove and showed my enlightener. I said, nah, it's me. We did it. Look, boom. I may not be able to do it again, but we made 2 issues. After that, I was broke. You know what I'm saying? But we did it. We showed and proved the assignment, though, that we could do what we do. But after I did that, I realized, listen, I know I could do this now. I could make my own thing. I could be the E.E.A.C.E, editor-in-chief, easily. I'm equipped for this. In only a few years, because I did it with Day Sun, and only a few years later, he was editor-in-chief of The Source, and I ended up being news editor with him. That classroom showed us, yo, we definitely could do this. What are we waiting for? And now we do it ourselves, though. Can't be done. I've written 8 books already. I've released 3 albums. You know what I'm saying? I haven't published 100 articles just at school. I published at least 300 articles in my career. And they're not all in magazines. Some of them are in journals. Some of them are different types of music, ethnomusicology, all this stuff. You need to stop playing with yourself. You need to go out there. I'd be easy on you if you're a brother on the corner. But we're the true and living God. You got this knowledge. You know how few people get this knowledge? You think it's all divine and all that kind of stuff and cosmic and shit. It's about hard work and the fury of your mind that gets you here. I have met people that have been very successful, right? Very successful and never got this knowledge. And I mean, they never heard it before. And successful. And you could see how they felt like that was missing. And now they feel too old to get it, though. But it was something that they really could have used, but they just never got it. Not everybody encounters this. It takes a certain fury and the mathematical equations, because that's all life is a series of endless interacting mathematical equations. You know what I'm saying? So when you say there's a mystery, it says you don't know the equation. You know what I mean? And some people don't get that particular equation. Doesn't mean that they're not successful. Michael Jordan did great for himself. He probably thinks there's a mystery yet. You know what I mean? But see, the 85 are contradictory. They're neither right nor wrong. They're inconsistent. So Michael Jordan could believe in the mystery God, but when he lives his daily life, though, he's not counting on him for shit. Was he counting on him when the Pistons were destroying him and beating the hell out of him? No, he counted on the trainer and the weight room. You know what I mean? The jump shots. Curry wasn't like, listen, everybody likes me. The shots will fall. Right? The mystery God is not working. No, he's working in the gym, taking hundreds and hundreds of shots. You know what I mean? Life is like that. It is difficult. It feels like you're just training endlessly forever. But then the opportunity arises, though, for you not to choke. And sometimes it's only one shot. You know what I'm saying?
But stay ready, get ready.
Right? Yeah. Always be ready. Always be ready. People say that stuff, but if you've been in a position where you have to perform immediately, or you don't have it, though. I can't tell you how many jobs depended on me performing at that moment, writing something sufficient at that moment, being able to get on air. I remember the first time I was in radio. We're at WBAI, and I'm like all nervous, and I'm production assistant. I ain't supposed to get on air. So listen, you heard that they asked me about a Mark Anthony, his first English album. I was like, ugh, it was okay, but like, right? Say, yo, you heard it, right? They say, yeah. We need 5 minutes airtime. Can you go up there right now and give a review? I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I don't remember the names of the songs like that and everything. I'm gonna have to get, you know what I mean? It's not like the era now. Like, oh, I'm gonna go on YouTube Music or Spotify and just listen to the album quick, boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? Get the lyrics. Nah. Not only did I prepare the 5 minutes, when I got on air, right before I get on air, it goes, wait a minute. We don't have the time, though. It got cut to just 30 seconds. So now I'm going to take a 5-minute segment and cut it to 30 seconds. I had to do that in 5 seconds. And I did it. And I said after I did that, I was like, yo, I could do this. I could do this, though. I performed and I didn't choke. If I just kept calm. Why do you think that the gods make you show and prove the degree and everything? To see if you don't choke, though. You got to be of the metal. You can't be choking out there. You build with this knowledge outside, you are guaranteed to either develop friend or foe. It ain't no in between. It's very rare that people will go, I don't care. You almost always will build friend or foe. Whether that friend gets this knowledge, though, there are many that be like, no, I don't like what you're teaching. Though. It's challenging my views. It's offensive to me. I've seen Muslims walk in here and I say, oh, can I do whatever the hell they do, I forget. You know what I mean? Right? Can we do, prayer, whatever like that? They thinking is coming and said, this ain't about that. Yeah, salat and everything, right? They want to do all that. And I'm like, no, this ain't that. You ain't doing that here. You know what I mean? And I tell them what this is. I tell them the whole thing. Nice and concise, because I know how to do it in 1 minute. And I have seen people say, oh, okay, and look at me with the eyes of scorn, be like, yo, if this was Saudi Arabia, I would have killed you right now. That kind of look. You know what I mean? You build with this knowledge, though, you make friend or foe. You expose the mysteriousness, though. You expose the lunacy of the individual. Oh, so you're waiting for people to, oh, yeah, Jesus, where?
Insanity.
That shit is crazy, that there is people looking out for you. I was reading, and like I said, he was here at the school. He salutes us, right? Common, he did his video here and everything like that. He's been saluting us. He's been peaceful whenever I met him, right? I read his recent book, right? It's a self-help book. It's nice, but it has a long spiritual chapter, mystery God level stuff. You know what I mean? And he was like, you gotta be in touch with God. When I say God now, with Common, it's mystery God, right? And he goes, you gotta be in touch with God. You gotta be in tune. And when I wasn't in tune, that's why things, and sometimes people will say, but all over the world, things happen bad to people and stuff like that. And he dismisses because, well, look, all I know is that you got to be in tune and stuff. When I was in tune, things worked for me with God. And I'm like, that is the most bullshit thing. It's disrespectful to humanity, actually, to say that God works when you think about the mystery God and submit to the mystery God and pray to the mystery God, and your life starts to work. Is disrespectful to all other humanity. You're telling me that those children in Palestine, they know about their mystery God? Because Common, I give the example, because Common respects all the people's mystery gods. He's very good like that, right? He's humane. He's a good man, right? But what about the other people's mystery gods? Now, we talk about Christians, right? Many countries in Africa are starving and suffer. In the Congo, many of the people in the Congo are Christian.
To be raped.
Yeah.
Being killed for resources.
I never heard such condescending shit if you apply it, though. Children get to die, though. They must not be thinking about the mystery God in the proper fashion. It's bullshit. Because if there was a mystery God, though, he's wasting your time with able-bodied people. You know what I'm saying? He's not dealing with the children. You know what I mean? He's not coming down. You know what I mean? At least send Michael Landon. Let's get some Highway to Heaven on this shit. You know what I mean? My old Earth used to always watch Highway to Heaven and shit. And it's funny because sometimes the 85 programs influence you. What I loved about Highway to Heaven wasn't that he was some mystery God thing. What I loved was that he had the power to help anybody. That's us. That's the gods. We got the power to help everybody. You understand? That's why that shit resonated with me as a child. You know what I mean? So I like that kind of shit. I used to like Highway to Heaven and stuff. You know what I mean? He helped everybody, and you can't stop him from helping. That's gangster right there. You know what I mean? That's real gangster shit. You know what I mean? It's time that we level up, grow up, because you know what, though? While you're doing that, white man's off and running.
I see.
Learn your history. I learned it a long time ago. I went to a Puerto Rican studies class. My first mentor, first Puerto Rican I met that had a PhD, found out he had even more masters, about 4 master's degrees, countless stuff. And I know because I have, I'm the proxy to his stuff, so I hold him, because he travels all over the world. We still connect to this day after all these years, about 35 years later. And I was like, it's a class about Puerto Rican history. I came late. Shit. First day I came in late. It's all good, man. Puerto Rican. Don't matter. Right? Be good. I was embarrassed. He embarrassed me. You know what I'm saying? The minute he started teaching about stuff, I ain't know nothing about what he was talking about. I said, we did that? That happened? I didn't know nothing. The revolutionaries, the oppression, the details, I didn't know anything. I was embarrassed. And that sparked me to say, yo, things go equal. Every student in the classroom I'm at does their work properly, right? Which is a possibility. All those other white kids, right? All those brothers, the other Latinos, everybody. They will know as much Puerto Rican history as me, and I'm from the fucking place. That embarrassed me. I was like, that's embarrassing. You know what I mean? I'm 85 though. I'm one of those Puerto Ricans. I'm a million flags. I got the beads. I got the hat. I got everything. There's not a logo that they could make though and put it on that flag on that I ain't got. I had everything, and I don't know nothing about it. I don't know anything about it. You know what I mean? And that embarrassed me. I got my shit together. You know what I'm saying? I got my shit together. We got to get our shit together, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Peace, King Me. That's right. That's right. I let you know. I'm glad that I said that low life history because I didn't know you knew. The God. Let me add one caveat because this class had that low life history. To put it in context, how the gods and the earths. There are three main low lives that distinguish my hip hop career, right? That people don't know they were low lives. It was Thurston Howell III. Of course, everybody knows he's low life. Rakim Supreme Shabazz Allah, aka Rudy Lowe, and Bones Malone, the great writer. Okay, these all intersected because I met Rakim, and he was coming to the class and realized what I was doing these years and in the communities. Thurston Howell's the one that named me Skill Illustrator Low, and Bones Malone, being all three of them childhood friends, Bones Malone actually told Rakim that I was the only person that he read. And yet Bones was the hero for me when I started. So all these intersected where Rakim said, yo, you got to get your L's, man. We need you. I got my L's, became a low life from Rakim, Rudy Lowe, and Bones Malone. Obviously, you know, that great writer gave me the accolades and the salutes, which is amazing. Thurston Howell named me Skill Illustrator Low. I say all that to say this, though. Those three were graffiti writers that were poor and they had no way to make money, and they started boosting things. The polo was the best thing to boost because there was something new every season. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like it was outdated or there was no clothes for like spring or no new clothes for fall. There's always something new. So they always had something fresh, right? So they able to make money consistently. After a while, they became so successful that they start wearing the stuff that they boost because they, you know, if you're selling it, now you have extra. Man, I'm gonna keep this for myself because this looks right. You know what I mean? And now it becomes a fashion battle as well. But that's the reality that they come from, and that the lust for the clothes, and I know because I buy them, so I understand the lust for the clothes. The lust for the clothes, the lust to be fresh, the domination aspect of it, it leads to gang activity. It leads to negative things. You know what I'm saying? But between that crew, they were very consistent with the principles of love and loyalty. You know what I'm saying? So with the love, with the showing and proving of the love through their loyalty, they were able to not get through the bad times, the criminal times, but also be there when they're trying to get out of the criminal times and realize we need to do better than this with this. You understand? It's a story that people don't know and they need to know, but it's one of the reasons I was made a low life, to express that story, to tell that story. You know what I mean?
The gang leader was a black person, bald headed name, with the glasses name. His name is Herman. Really was Herman.
Don't go snitching.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go dry snitch and letting people know. I really don't care what you gang you in. But if they're not doing the right things, you need to get out of that. If that's how you make your money, you slipping. You slipping. You're being somebody somewhere and not God, and God somewhere else. And I'm telling you now, I expect improvement. You're not going to be in this classroom. You're not showing and proving that you're being in God. Trust me. The next time you walk in here, I expect improvement. And please don't think that I won't yell you out or physically throw you out. And I don't mean my classroom, I mean the entire school. I expect work in here. You understand? I expect work. I don't expect this sloppiness, well, I'm doing this and that. No. Ask around other students when they was messing up and not writing exact. You understand? I will build you up though, but I will kick your ass out if you don't. Right? I expect that the resources are here. I already told you when to come through. You learn a trade. God will have you working fast. You know what I mean? And if you're not working fast, he's going to tell you what you need to do. Okay? Man, it's important though, man. We don't have time for this stuff, man. They're building all this transhumanism and stuff like that. Have AI do all your jobs and everything. And we're out here fooling around. The difference between oppression now and then, let me tell you the difference. And you saw it begin with this COVID vaccine, which is a form of transhumanism to try to get everyone under one same belt. Now, when they oppress, though, they don't care so much about racism or something like that. That's a card that we're playing, and we're playing on the street and everything, and we live daily because we deal with oppression. But really, the society that they want is not one of just black down, white up. No, it's all of humanity. All of humanity under this transhumanism, where they know everything you're doing. We gauge everything. We have chips in you. We gauge all your levels and everything because you know the watches do it, right? But the chips that you implant, they're going to do it even better. And if your money is all digital, they don't like what you're doing. Oh, you're not going to get access to this money until. You feel me? Oh, I don't like that purchase you're trying to make, God. That's a little bit of a radical book right there. You feel me? They don't have the power to do that. You understand? This is what we're dealing with, though. So you better figure out what you're doing. Walking around here and everything like that, acting like it's sweet, and it's not. Oppression doesn't get better. It gets worse. We don't feel it, though, because we're supposed to be getting stronger. Being able to fight it, adapt to it. You know what I mean? Overcome it. I don't think it's getting better. You know what I'm saying? Because you get to play games because we go home and we have Netflix, we have all the fun things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, when I was a kid, I didn't have access like now. I would go home and I have access to literally thousands and thousands of shows and movies. You know? Because my family members, they love all the apps and they give me access to all the apps and I love it. My brother, I told you, he's an actor. Man, he has a film collection that he gives me access to. He has almost 2,000 movies. Man, I could be vegging out all day just with his stuff, let alone the apps. There's a reason for that, though. There's a reason for that. You know what I mean? Less independent, more dependent on things. You know what I mean? Less questioning, right? You know, we have all this. It's fine, though. You know what I mean? All the things I would have researched for was to have fun and access like this. So what the hell, right? And what are we researching? What are we researching for? What are we doing, right? What are we building? This is important, though. You got to take your shot now. We say, the gods say babies are the greatest, though. No, none, y'all three are not babies anymore. Y'all is already the greatest. Okay? When your wisdom understanding, right?
Yeah.
When I came to school, about 3 months later, after I started building, they were like, all the gods were like, you're going to be teaching here. You're going to have to learn. You know what I'm saying? Learn special. Oh, we have a board. You're going to be the secretary because you could write, though. I was already recruited for all the things here. Just because of the things I was already doing. You're around the gods, the elders, they're going to put you to work. I saw you, God, at the show and prove. They put you to work. I saw you running around doing all kinds of stuff. I said, God, that's what's up. They put the God to work. He running around up there. He running around here. Yeah, they put him to work. You know? But what I'm saying is, though, is that like now, it's even more independent. You got to pick your own work, too. What is the work that you're going to do that's going to just make you greater? If you don't know what you're going to give the community, then keep making yourself greater because that's part of it. You know what I'm saying? Be selfish for you because that's the most selfless way to get to a point of building. throughout my entire years, my family, when I started to really build and study and do my own work, go get my hip hop career, all this kind of stuff, selfish is what I've been constantly called. To this day, my own family, members, brother, sister, my own twin, they often call me selfish. Often. You know what I mean? In fact, when I was talking about the COVID vaccine, I didn't take it though. They said I was selfish because I was going to end up poisoning and killing my daughters. This is what they were saying. Right? Did no research to back that shit up though. To say something so horrible to me. Did no research to back that shit up. But they said it to me anyway. You know what I'm saying? This is what we deal with. So you got to be sharp. You know what I mean? And the world doesn't need another black man selling shit on the corner. You know what I mean? Don't.
Are you gonna kick me out?
Huh?
Are you gonna kick me out? So, can I tell you? Did I tell you because I'm doing bad stuff in the streets?
Damn right. I'm gonna kick your ass out. You better get sharp. What the hell you think this is? How long I've been teaching here? Did I ever tell you? I've been teaching here since 2000. Okay? So you will not be the first and certainly not the last person that I said this is not enough. This is not good enough. Okay? Trust me. I have kicked out young, old, every age group here. I have yelled, spoken to, criticized, degraded every single person doing the wrong thing here. Okay? We're past 8 o'clock. I'm going to read these. You said 55 years ago, the father went back to us and you're at the school teaching Bill. Thank you, student. Thank you. Also, you said, is the brand Health Aid Kombucha a good brand? No, never drink Health Aid Kombucha. That one, you could tell that they use vinegar. Okay? GT Synergy is the best. Okay, that's my brand though. I've drank them for years. They also make an adaptogenic tea and they make, yeah, I hate it. But anyway, you know what I mean? Peace to the God, Rakim Shabazz, Highs the Dome TV, one of the great podcasts done by the gods. To me, the greatest educational interview resource that we have in this nation. You know what I'm saying? As far as interviewing people outside of the nation that are builders, including people in the nation. One of the great podcasts. Check it out. Spotify, everywhere. It's everywhere. YouTube, Spotify. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. I got, you know, but the summary of it is that we gotta build. The show and prove was wonderful. People gave me a lot of love, and I was very thankful for it. And like I said, listen, I had a little issue I built with the God on one of the posts in the Allah School of Mecca, but it was about defending my name. Build your name up. Build your name up. I don't let people talk anything about my name that is wrong, not right and exact. You know what I'm saying? I defend my name at all costs. The best way to defend it is by showing and proving with your works. So when I defend it, though, I don't be like, hey, you shouldn't say that about me. I said, listen, I can't say this about me. Check the resume. Check the works. You know what I mean? At your young age, that's how you should be building up, though. What's the righteous name, God? Tell me your name.
My righteous name?
Tell me.
Prince Supreme.
Say again?
Prince Supreme.
Prince Supreme. When people say that, though, that should come with things that they do. You understand? What's the name, God?
Why Supreme?
Why Supreme? When I've already heard people say, why Supreme? I've already heard your name travel. Say, yeah, the God builds and he got young. He's young with the student. You know what I mean? Name travels. Don't think it don't. Almighty understanding. Expect it to travel. Build. Don't be thinking it's sweet. You know what I'm saying? To get to that, you know what I'm saying? It's little by little. The proper works every day. People don't even have to ask my name. You could Google me and get your lesson. You know what I'm saying? Google me, you'll find who Sunez is. You're going to find some kung fu. You're going to find books. You're going to find works, builds. The name. Build it up. Create it. The life you live is how you create the name, not just naming yourself. It's the work you do after. You know what I mean? And that's what we're gonna do. Right? See, look, King Me, brother on the chat, he wrote, yeah, why Supreme is on point. How we know that? How we know that? I didn't say that. The name travels though, because you building. Little by little, build. That's what we need to be doing, not all this other shit. You know? Not all this other shit. Okay? All right. I'm gonna let everybody go. It's positive, it's built, it's hot. You know what I'm saying? Don't get lost with the chicks. Deal with them accordingly. Don't get nuts. Get off the corners doing the wrong thing. Get into Raj's class on Sunday, 5 o'clock. Get yourself HVAC. Get yourself something that's gonna make you money if you don't know what to do in life or you want a backup. You know what I'm saying? It's great because with HVAC, you don't have to just be in a company if you don't want to do that. You can learn it, take your tests and everything, right? Get your certification. You get in with Raja and the networks. You could do odd jobs on the weekend, make a bundle when you need a bundle and make it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't work with the guy. Raja, listen, I work and then I want to make my bundle. Now listen to this album. Read this book I wrote. You know, I get the side bundle with the things I love. You know, but if you need a trade, that's what the father said. You know, we have to get a trade, get something that will last. You know, so it's very important. You know what I mean? I want y'all to do something, be successful, so you could what? Fulfill yourselves. All right. And on that note, I'm gonna leave everybody. Peace.